single sea occupied under the glistening floodlights. It's looking beautiful. The picturesque Baljo Stadium, formerly a hotbed of history, now the epicenter of some crazy footballing action. But that's a fine ball, chance! And drags it wide. Could have done better on that occasion. Wonderful layoff from the right, Purnima right. He should have done better. He was the captain once again, Anita, bearing off the partner. And that should have been hammered home. What a chance on that occasion, but couldn't be converted. And Nepal to come all the way from the right again, but India does well on that occasion, defends it. Now a bit of twist and turn altogether for the Orange Brigade, usually dressed in blue, but today they have changed the stuff. Again, another attempt to try and lay it off onto the right, but the ball was kind of overpowered on that occasion, and it beats everyone in the process. Nepal once again trying to tiptoe their way to the gates of glory. That's a good push. Another fine run. India delivers the cross. I think she had lots of space and time as well. He could have just taken the ball and moved forward. Now from the right, 1 versus 3. It will never be easy. But India definitely will have a corner. The first set piece of the game. Malavika, she was trying to lay claim to that ball on that occasion. Doesn't really get the space to go forward, and now that corner will summon Mariamal Balamurgan, and she curl it in. That's a question. India has got almost 6 players in the box. A possible left footer should be the one eyeing for that far post. Got this instinct. So she can come up with those vicious fingers. Delivers it towards the center. A tender header on that occasion to send it up. But that shot should have been better. Durga Perumal couldn't just keep it down. There was a chance, of course, to try and rattle the top net. But once again, that header, it came from a Nepal player. It's just that the shot that came in, when the goalkeeper was already off her position, should have been a much more convincing and an easier opening altogether for the hosts. But on this occasion, visible trouble. And I think she's bleeding from her nose. Might have taken the blow, because while you are going for that header, particularly from a set piece, it can lead to a bit of a jam-packed collision out in the box. Yeah, I think she's bleeding from her nose. Now the question is whether she'll continue or not. Another quick look at the corner. It was a fine delivery. I think it was that head-on collision that happened while they were trying to head. Doesn't really look like they are getting a substitution in place. Looks like she is okay, but she'll need a bit more time to return to the yard. Despite the fact Nepal are lining up a couple of options. Again, one might expect Deepa Shahi to come in as well. I think the referee just wants to ensure what's the status. And looks like we are finally ready to roll. Ushanath just ensuring that everything's okay. And Nanita is back on the ground. And that's the kind of side that we all are fairly welcome to. And that's a good forward ball. A gentle push back. Now Nepal slowly and steadily coming together with those passes through the center, and India just gets a bit of a touch to it. But so far, to be honest, apart from that one move created by Nepal from the right and the corner that was taken by India, most of the attacks which is coming from both the sides has kind of fallen flat on its face. Another attempt to try and pummel the ball forward, and Soumya quick to get out of that line of hers and eventually get a hold over the ball without any fuss at all. Right, a bit of a back flick. Around a decent ball, but to whom? Goes all the way to Nepal. 13 minutes in, and this has been a game that still deserves a lot of quality and a bit more heart than usual. And India does well to defend. I think both the teams, they have done defensively pretty decent. But when it comes to attack, when it comes to the decisive pass, the penetration, I think that is one particular area that is still to be talked about. Throw in for Nepal. Hira Kumari Bhujel just takes it light, just takes it easy. I think for Nepal, both the wings have been fairly active. And it makes this game an entertaining one. Ideally, when you have decent wing play coming in from all ends, it starts opening up avenues which you absolutely love. Windows of opportunity. Another gentle push forward. Kept on popping. Does well. Twist and turns. Oh, that's a phenomenal ball. India just gets it out in the nick of time. Another chance, another rolling shot comes in. But it eventually goes on to hammer another Nepal player before India flashes out their danger lines. But Nepal, time and time again, coming up in those isolated bursts of brilliance. Headed away to safety. Soumya, looking for options. Soumya usually doesn't drop these deep. First 15 minutes has gone by. And at the end of the first quarter, it's all fair and square despite both the teams coming fairly close once a piece to trying to break that deadlock. Nepal had a lovely chance. India did as well. For Nepal, it was from open play. A lovely cross floated in from the right. For India, it was from a corner. Another fine ball headed away, repelled away to safety. Now, that's not the best of clearances. You need to be a bit more clinical when you're trying to get rid of any danger that's lurking around you. And that's decent as well. I think India, they want to ensure the fact that their citadel is well protected before they go forward, trying to breach the Nepal defense. And brought down, referee says play on because the ball stays with India, so a bit of advantage given. Quick switch all the way to the back. That's quality. India now might be sensing out a possible opening. And that is a lovely run, but Nepal does well to recover. India almost finding that opening that they have been desperately scurrying for, right from the word go itself. And out of nowhere, and now Nepal might just sense out that this was their chance. But then they did get stuck. And as a result, concedes the throw-in. So far, India's obvious target player will be Soumya Gugulot. The kind of quality that she possesses, the kind of speed, shooting flair, and most importantly, that ubiquity that she brings into the game, that omnipresence. She's everywhere. That kind of reshapes how India is going to attack in this particular game. But again, trying to break down a Nepal defense with a solitary forward might not be the wisest of ideas. Obviously, later on, India might look forward to get in Anju Tamang in the game as well. Avista Basnet too. Both the players, they've had some international exposure. They've had a few senior games coming in. So obviously they'll be a bit more prone. They'll be a bit more well acclimatized to the kind of challenges that comes in with the national jersey. And that's another throw in for the hosts out here. And just to take you all through the bench of both the teams. For India, they have got Crispin Chetri as their head coach. Apart from that, Priya is the assistant coach of the team. Gurmeet Tamang. Gurmeet Dolmo Tamang is India's goalkeeping coach. Umesh Rai, assistant coach. Yashna Chetri, physiotherapist. Sujana Rai, the team manager. And Prikila Tamang, the liaison officer. The Nepal, it's also a fairly decent bench as well. Naveen Yupane, head coach. Bhagwati Thapa, their assistant coach. They have got Rajkumar Casey as well as their assistant coach. Shri Prakash Baidya, their goalkeeping coach. Silagiri Physio. Sharila as their HOD. Bindra Devan, who's their manager. Vikas Gurung, their kit manager. Sanjab Mishra, official. And Pratishna Regmi, media manager. So both the teams have got a very bedecked bench as well. Apart from the players that we are talking about, obviously the players form the core of the team. The players form the heart, the nucleus of the entire side. And now Nepal, a bit of twist and turn, trying to figure out if they can somehow get an answer to the current conundrum of the unbreakable Indian defense, of the unbreakable Indian defense. They've been more like a Fort Knox. They have been cloistered altogether in a knot which will need a lot more than just mere execution, than just mere instinctive individual brilliance in order to try and shatter the gates. Through the center once again, one back nicely. India happy to sit back and start with the switches from the left to the right. And that could have been a quality ball. The first touch was all over the place on that occasion. Grace Lalampari was possibly expecting that she could have done better than that. But it was not the case. In India, apart from Soumya, there's hardly anyone who's pressing around. I think if they have to win the ball, create a bit of pressure on Nepal, that's the kind of pressing that you want. A bit of high press, a bit more gas in your tanks, a bit more football in your legs. It's just 20 minutes in, you still have to play 17 long minutes. And you can't just let exhaustion get the better of you. You have to push with every possible option. And obviously it goes without saying, considering the fact that this is a friendly, a team can make innumerable changes till the time they have the numbers on the bench, of course. There's no rolling subs in play. But yes, the number of subs that they have, they can always make the changes. I think recently in another friendly that India men, under 23 men were a part of, both the teams went for almost 9 to 10 changes in the second half. Another gentle push. Now they'll have to be careful. They weren't sure whether the right move will be to go back to Soumya, and I think what they have done is the way to go forward. And now comes the Nepal skipper. And that was cleanly won. Another long ranger comes floating in, but that was definitely headed for Mars. An attempt from distance on that occasion. Saraswati Hamal ends up blasting one straight into the stands. But again, kudos to Anita Basnet. Had her nose busted, was bleeding a few moments ago and was bleeding profusely. But the fact that she's again come back to the field just tells you that how committed to the cause she is. How dedicated she is. Not a quick throw and just tapped away. I think what both the teams need right now is a personnel who can be shouldered with the onus of just hanging around, just lingering around in the opposition defense. This can be trouble. Lack of communication. Soumya and the defender, both of them, they were trying to possibly gauge each other's advancement. For India, I reckon it was Santosh. Yes, it was Santosh. It was a fine duel between Santosh and Rashmi Kumari. And finally, Santosh kept her nerve, ensured the fact that she's not letting Soumya go for the ball. Another aerial delivery. Once again, trouble. The entire goalkeeping can be a challenge for the Indian team, but luckily, the defenders were alert and they had flushed out the chance at the expense of a corner. But what an opportunity, what an opening once again. And it is none other than Anita Basnet creating all sorts of dilemma. At the first touch, been decent enough from Meena Duba. You never know. We could have been looking straight at India taking a substantial hit in the game. But again, fortunate, and Soumya needs to possibly communicate better with her players. That's the second time she's come out of a line without proper communication. Anita Basnet set to deliver. Nepal's first corner of the game. You can hear the crowd loving every single moment. Anita sends it towards the far side. Soumya palms it away. And India quick to gather their senses and now launch a counter attack. This can be a lovely moment that without a doubt will be a free kick. It was a positive move in the making. If she could have gone past a defender, India possibly could have had a chance to try and go one-on-one or possibly inflict a 2v2 challenge up front. This was nicely done, to be honest, by Grace Lalrampari, but needed to control that a bit. I think she got a bit too excited at the prospect that what lies ahead of her can be really glorious, and it could have been, but it needed a bit more calm, a bit more composure, and a bit more precision. Free kick for India. No cards were shown. It's got to be taken by Santosh. She's got options up front. She's got Soumya. Not the most powerful of free kicks. And the ball fairly keeps on bubbling up and down. And now India, they have been dispossessed. Nepal just trying to make a bit of headway altogether. But India does well to win it back, only to give it away. Now Nepal, they have got numbers committed to the cause. Advantage play. Switched all the way towards the right. Nicely brought down. Nepal looking menacing on this attack. Shot comes in. Soumya throws her body to her left and comes up with a crucial save, denying Nepal what could have been that opener. We'll once again take a look. A lovely bit of movement altogether. Fine run from Meena Duba. And then came the shot at the near post. Soumya was well placed, kept her eyes on the ball and palmed it away to safety. But the Indian defense, they are kind of letting their guards drop. That isn't a very good spectacle, to be honest. India once again coming back, and looks like they have given it away. Soumya just trying to find a bit of momentum and a bit of way forward. Looking for support, scanning the perimeter, and eventually wins a free kick for herself. We'll take a look. Almost went past her marker, but then decent recovery as well. Coming in from Bimala. Didn't allow Soumya to have a free run, but nonetheless India, they've got another set piece. And this might be in a very good position. They've got Santosh, they've got Soumya, but it looks like Soumya is going to be a part of the wall to try and launch the attack. Santosh will be the one to hammer that shot. Is India missing out on the likes of Anju Tamang and Abhishta Basnet earlier in the game? They needed a bit more experience, a bit more maturity. Obviously with Malati Munda, Ashtamoram and Soumya Gogolot, they've got options. Nepal, it's got a two-woman wall. Santosh delivers the free kick. Oh my word, it was a screaming hit altogether. But once again, Usha Nath stationed where she should have been. Picture perfect positioning. And she gets hold of the ball. But Nepal now on the move again. And this is a game that's oscillating from one end to the other. Another lovely cross. Danger keeps on looming. Shot on the turn. And it flashes wide. What a game we are witnessing. The audience taking in, soaking in the entertainment. Hira Kumari Bhujel it was to hammer that shot. Nicely set up by Purnima Rai. And it went straight into the second tier of the stands. Soumya once again to the right. Soumya will need a bit more help. Without help, she will be stranded, isolated. Throw in for India once again. Quickly taken. But Nepal intercedes. India fights back. And that's a decent position to have the ball from. And a long range volley as well. Could have been better. I think she had options. Again, she just couldn't keep her calm there. Malavika will take a look there. She had not one but two options onto her left, one to her right. She could have simply distributed the ball. It could have been a different tale altogether. India might have just found a better position to try and score from. Throw in for India. And it's Ashna Moram who's come a long way from her defensive position, trying to help her team in an attack. Once again, Nepal just keeping the Blue Tigresses ahead, away from the danger line of theirs. This has been a tough day in office, a busy one as well for Anita Basnet. She's up in a constant duel with Soumya every single time she's coming forward again. That is the lack of chemistry we are talking about. The chest trap was decent, and then the ball that was supposed to be laid off, that wasn't in position. Crispin Chetri, obviously, he knows the importance of these games, a bit more exposure, a bit more game time for the young girls, which will allow, that's a cheap concession, can be trouble. India finds the opener! And who else than the predator, Soumya Gugulot? All she needs is one shy at the net. And she does it in style. Snatched the ball midway. Stepped up. Went past her marker. And boom. Beyond the reach of an advancing Usha Nath. Clinical hit. And India draws first blood in Paljor. 30 minutes mark. And the stadium rings with brilliance. Soumya Gugulot once again showing what she is capable of. And a quick congratulatory hug from Crispin Chetri and Sujana Rai. But Nepal, I think they have also got what it takes. They've got firepower, but India wins it back. They had to release the ball once again into the cantering stride of Soumya. Stays with India, is it? No. Referee blows the whistle on that occasion. Awards a free kick to Nepal. And I think again a busy day in office for Meera Tamang as well. And she's done well apparently. She's done a phenomenal bit of job altogether. Free kick for Nepal. They have done the heavy lifting, but now they trail. India will have to find a bit of momentum to get that insurance goal. Soumya once again hunting, ramming forth as if she can break the deadlock single-handedly. Doesn't matter the number of defenders. And this is what goals do to you. It starts giving you a belief, giving you a sense of confidence. It starts helping you find your rhythm. But now Nepal, they have a bit of space going forth. Brought down just outside the box. Santosh kind of compelled to pull that challenge. We'll take a look once again on that occasion there. What happened? Santosh came a long way towards the right. And just before Rashmi Kumari Gising could eventually make the most of it, she was brought down. Soumya setting up a wall. It looks like it's going to be the captain. Yes, it is. Anita Basnet to deliver the free kick. India has got a three-personal wall in front. Can Nepal break this? Can they restore parity? And can they restore the deadlock once again? A lot of questions on the horizon. Anita Basnet and time has the answer. Anita! Screamer it could have been, but Soumya once again impenetrable. Standing underneath the sticks like a true titan. And that's the second time she's denied Nepal from a screaming strike from range. Anita went for that far post. And what a save on that occasion. Throwing herself in the air and palming it away to safety. But danger's not over. Anita to deliver the corner. And Nepal will keep on coming. Anita curls it at the far side. The ball stays out. Nepal tries their luck. And Soumya. What a player she is. You hurl a meteor at her. You throw a comet. You throw an entire universe. And she'll lose it. She'll lose it like she's a pro. There's no crossing her today. Not on her watch at least. 34 minutes and Soumya Narayansamy, captain of the side, leading from the back, marshalling her troops. A general for the ages. Her name to savor. And of course, India, that has produced the likes of Aditi Chauhan, the woman who played for West Ham, might find a new hero as well in the form of Soumya. Obviously, she'll have to go a long way forth, but so far the kind of saves that she's pulling off, the kind of reflexes that have been up on display, it's absolutely crazy. Nepal, on the contrary, they are looking a lot more menacing despite the fact that they haven't yet found the back of the net. They are hungry, they are famished, and they want more goals. They are hunting in packs, and that is something that will be bothering India as well. India will have to find a bit of momentum, of course. A few short passes. And eventually another long ball. The idea is to try and find Soumya up front. But that wasn't the case. India wins it back, is it? A decent tussle on the sidelines. And eventually won all the way by Anita on that occasion. Trying to figure out a bit of movement. India does well to track them. And now India, just when it felt like that they can open things up, looks like they might. Coming all the way from the right once again, tries to deliver the ball. But Nepal does well to eventually cut it down. Here's a chance. This has been a fair bit of exchange altogether. Both the teams, I think Nepal, obviously, they have looked a bit more solid in terms of tactical maneuvers. India, they have relied on the individual brilliance. Another forward ball, and just take a look at how quickly Soumya gets out of that line of hers. She is a sweeper keeper, but those instincts, the timing of the run, it has been so bang on the money that it's made Nepal's life a lot more difficult. They have not really found the momentum going into the box. They have not really able to try and play that decisive pass apart from that one occasion. And this is what being a goalkeeper, also being the captain of the team, is your responsibility. And now India comes locking once again. Is that an opening for the team, for Team India? Might be. Soumya somehow just wriggles one free and eventually has been brought down by Nisha Tokar. Looks like it's going to be the first yellow card of the game, and yes, it is. Nisha at the receiving end of it, the way she brought Soumya down, it was definitely not by the books. In fact, it was first a challenge by Vimala and then Nisha joined her as well. So the yellow card's actually gone to Vimala and not Nisha. A quick apology and a quick correction. So Vimala is the one who has been taken into the referee's book. Another free kick for the women in blue. Another chance is what they are sniffing out. And who's the one lining up for the shot? The one and only, the numero uno, the creme de la creme, Soumya Gogolot, the goal scorer. A 4-woman wall ahead of her. She's also got a bit of option. Soumya takes it straight and it settles down into the hands of Usha Nath. And Usha, unfazed, she'll take them on any given day. 6 minutes of regulation time remaining. We'll take a look once again. There, floated straight into the hands of Usha. And just while we were talking about Usha, I think a bit of a saving was needed from our very own Soumya Narayansamy as well. And Soumya said before, she has been absolutely brilliant. Just take a look at how quickly she can switch back. And that's a good forward ball. Good connect. One back just in the nick of time. Stays with Nepal, apologies. And as you can see, fairly a full house here in Paljor. A stadium that has seen lots. Stadium that has seen India's history unfurl itself. And at the same time, a stadium that has seen football take one step after the other. Climb the rungs of the ladder of success. Nepal, can they open things up? They take a shot, but straight at the India player. And now India comes knocking on the doors again. And I think there was a lot of gap. No one to support Soumya. Ideally, Soumya was the one running all the way from the right. But today, she's in a much more of a central role. When she's playing alongside the full Indian team, the likes of Rimpa Haldar can provide her that support. Obviously, through the left, she gets a lot of options. But today, she's all alone. A good ball towards the far side, but eventually an all-evasive delivery. It goes out of play, thereby resulting in a goal kick for India. And Soumya will take a bit of time on that occasion, just trying to kill the tempo of the game. India will like to go into the tunnel with that lead, no matter how slender it looks like. Because then it will force Nepal to think differently. It will force Nepal to deviate from their original strategy. But if Nepal can find an equalizer here, then the entire game changes. And Nepal, they try and seek an opening from the right. And India, pretty persistent, won't let their guards down so easy. Just a quick message to the Nepal team that you will have to fight till the very end if you want to break that deadlock. Another cross comes floating in, and Soumya, for a moment it felt like that she might be under a bit of pump. There were a couple of players as well. And Nisha Thakur coming up with that long ranger once again, trying to test Soumya. She did backtrap. For a moment there was a very brief wobble, but then she eventually regained her composure and regained control of the ball as well. And from the right, Nepal comes knocking on the door once again. That right wing has been extremely busy. India needs to be slightly more careful every single time Nepal's getting hold of the ball on the right wing. Things are looking very dicey for the hosts altogether, and they will not want that kind of an unpredictable outing so far. India wins it back. Tries to drive forward. Soumya on the run through the center. On a bit of a press as well. Usha will have to be quick enough, and Usha, that's quality. Very, very cool, very, very calm. And just when Soumya came knocking on her doors, she went with that dribble and left Soumya just a mere shadow in the air. And now Nepal trying to find a bit of momentum, trying to open things up. switches it further forward. But India, they do well. And that ball, it goes through everyone. But Nepal finally manages to win it back. India needs to be a bit more wary when they are getting hold of the ball. When you have the possession, you can't just let it slip. Another miss pass. The idea was to try and find the player who was the closest. And then a couple of touches along the way, India eventually manages to get hold. The first touch needs to be slightly better. Another long ball forward. And I think India now understands that Soumya has been quite an ace up their sleeve. But again, that doesn't mean that every single ball needs to be going all the way to her. Right, a bit of deflection. Again, the first touch, a bit of a letdown. Just needs to be careful with that first touch. And that definitely will be a foul. Goes without saying. Rashmi Kumari Gising. She was caught in a double woman knot and she couldn't just find a way out. We'll take a look there. It was nicely chested down, to be honest. Rashmi Kumari Gising. She was the one at the receiving end of it. Bimala, a few moments ago, caught the yellow card. Takes the free kick at the far side. Header comes in. Soumya quick to once again reach out to the ball and eventually grasp it. Few more seconds before we have the additional minutes being shown, and 3 minutes is what we'll have here at the Paljo Stadium. In India, right through the center, but Nepal alert, and now just trying to carve their way forward. Looks a bit too easy. The way she went forward, that was with consummate ease, that she went not past one but two defenders. And this is exactly where India's defense have been exposed over and over again. Another ball forth, and India doesn't want to take any risks. Santosh does the honours, is it? No, it was Malati Munda getting the danger lines cleared. And you can see the flashes right on the net. Audience love to have a bit of action from fairly close by. A chance, Anita Basnet, to try and curl it towards the far side. Anita takes the corner. A bit of an awkward bounce, and Nepal finds the equalizer. Soumya failing to track back and palm it away. And Nepal just on cue. Moments from the half-time whistle, they restore parity here at the Paljo Stadium. They will be absolutely delighted. We can see a few fans as well enjoying this particular moment. Anita with that in-curler and a gentle header. We'll have to try and confirm who's the one who got the head to it. And it's none other than Rashmi Kumari Gising to find the back of the net. And we are back to square one from where we started. Soumya breaking the deadlock for India. And Rashmi Kumari Gising restoring parity for Nepal. And now, with a few more seconds remaining in the first half, Nepal might just go into a bit of an overdrive. Might just go overboard with all that belligerence of theirs, trying to find a second goal and get into the lead as well. And now India will have to think differently. They wanted to come up with a strategy that will hold on to the lead in the second half, but that wasn't the case. Now that it's all fair and square here at the Paljo Stadium, one can expect that both the teams will come up with renewed women vigor. India still tussling for possession, but Nepal does well. There were 3 Indian players, and the way Nepal controlled and eventually even launched a counter-attack might be a moment of reckoning, but Soumya once again quick to get out of that line of hers and eventually cut down the supply on that occasion. And things remain where it was, and with this Meera Tamang blows the long whistle and lets us know that we have come to the end of the first half where things remain locked in a deadlock. India won, Nepal won at the end of the first half. We'll take a short breather and be back with the second half as well. Stay tuned, everyone. What a lovely setup, an opportunity. The first touch needed to be better. That should have been powered. It should have been blasted into the net. But just a gentle touch to it. Doesn't do any harm. We'll take a look once again. It was a lovely run from the right. Soumya Gogolot going all the way and laying it off like a gift on a silver platter. Priyadarshini should have hammered it home from that particular angle, from that particular range. But now that she squandered it away, she'll have to think about how she can compensate, how she can come up with a redressal for the same. What a move altogether this was. Another throw in for India right now. India, they look a lot more active in the second half, at least in the first 3 minutes. Obviously, it's a long way to go. And a lot can happen. Nepal can fight back at any given instant. That's because they have got a decent amount of firepower in the Echelons of theirs. It stays with Nepal. Few quick maneuvers. And now laying it off onto that far right. But India just slamming the door shut on the face of the Nepali skipper, Anita Basnet. She's been one of the live wires so far of the Nepal attacking unit. She was the one who got them the all-important corner. Fine delivery from the right. India intercepts that, but Nepal wins it back. A moment of miss, and Nepal was quick to pounce upon the chance. And now India trying to find the ball out on that right wing. And Nepal does well, but India slightly better. Does well on a back track and has conceded possession at a dangerous juncture. Again, the shot taken way too early on that occasion. Should have been better. It was a shot that came in from Sabita Rana Magar, who came in for the second half just from outside the box. She was trying to curl it, but again, trying to take that near post as well, trying to beat Soumya from this particular angle would have never been easy. And now India, once again, on the lookout, in quest of a possible opening. And that has been tripped away. And from the left, and Nepal and India just kind of tripping toes with each other on that occasion, awarding a free kick there, the referee, to Nepal. And now a throw in as well. And I think they'll take their time. They are in no rush either. Both the teams just trying to calm things down. And yes, a free kick that was eventually awarded and not a throw in. Mimala, she has been fairly active in the game. Took a yellow card in the first half, but has been undaunted, undeterred. The way she's come forward time and time again, questioning the Indian attacking unit, maintaining the shape of the Nepal defense. It's kind of impressive. Nepal knocks it forward, India wins it back. And eventually the ball takes a bit of an out-turner, goes up for another throw-in. And there the audience, mixed emotions in the stands, to be honest. A few with smiles, a few still anxious that when will India find its second goal, and a few just soaking in the raw emotions of football. Football itself is more than just a game in the hills. It brings the entire states together. It brings the entire populations together. It's more like a festival, and a festival that unifies, a festival that makes people dream, that makes people believe. And it's not just the first day. If we take a look at the Indian team as well, the IWL and in the men's section as well, Hills have delivered a lot of footballers over the years. The icons of India, the likes of Bala Devi, the likes of Asha Lata Devi, Baichung Bhutia, they all hail from the Hills. The sheer quality that they brought, the sheer will, the sheer work rate that completely reshaped the contours of Indian football. Throw in for Nepal, however, for now, and they take it quickly. In India, they don't want to take away any chances because every single time their defense is being probed, there are chinks opening up, just like this one. A good bit of setup. Nepal sniffing out something. India will eventually try and clear that out. The ball somehow lingers on. They needed a bit more of power on that one to try and get the ball out of the danger zone. They kept it on and they tried to push as hard as they could. But the result was that Nepal had a throw-in for themselves. And this is one particular area that India needs to be very, very careful about. That right wing has always been a spot of bother. Even though the goal came from the left, from the corner that was floated in by Anita Basnet, yet every single time Nepal has got hold of the ball on the right, India has looked vicious. And now India, can they hit Nepal on the break? There is space on the left, but they'll have to hurry. Looks like they had a bit of a back check, trying to head it into the stride, and it will not be enough. Just when it felt like India might have one of those openings that they were hunting for. Free kick awarded to India. Bit of an injury concern. Malati Munda, she's down and she's wincing in pain. We'll take a look at what really happened. Yeah, head-on collision. And Malati instantly went down, seeking for help. Medicos are out in the center. And the audience, they love the game. This is one particular spot which has been brilliant. Now, Malati really looks like in a lot of discomfort. We will just hope that she's okay. And you can see everyone on the ground. The sport includes everyone. We talk about inclusivity. We talk about age groups. We talk about anything and everything. But when the sport is played in the Hills, every line of divergence blurs away. Every line of demarcation disintegrates. And at the end of the day, it's just that one giant family coming together to witness this game. And we were talking about the Highlanders. We have got one Highlander who's supervising the Indian team for now. And that's none other than the big man, Crispin Chetri. And under his supervision, the Indian team has been doing incredibly well. They've created history a month ago, and they continue in that same vein of rich form. The Tri-Nation series that they played might not have gone their way, but they fought with every possible option that they had. And that's what Crispin Chetri is trying to do. He's trying to bring about a revolution in Indian women's football. And ever since he's taken over the reins, this team has been looking great. And not just him, even the youth teams as well, under the chaperonage of Joachim Alexanderson. This is a lovely bit of move. Nepal might just find that opening that they're looking forward to. But that's a good bit of defensive relay there, a good bit of tag team work as they get the ball out of harm's way. And now India hoping to find a bit of space from the left to try and launch a counter-attack. But eventually holds on to the ball, holds on to the possession, trying to figure out what are the possible options that they can have. It took them a while. Nepal was quick to close down that particular space though. And I think these two from Nepal, their skipper, Anita Basnet and Rashmi Kumari Ghising, they have been everywhere. And it's that attacking duo of theirs that has left India on their toes at all times. Free kick for India. Do we eventually witness Anju Thamang in action? They've also got Elizabeth Lakra as well, Avista Basnet too. Bit of a backheader. The ball takes a ballooning curve altogether, and eventually Nepal kind of forced to get it out of play. And India takes it quickly enough. That throw in. That isn't the best of deliveries. That just went all over. She was trying to curl it. The idea was right from Ashna Moram, but you needed a bit more precision on the ball. What she's done is she's curled it to the stands altogether. And now Nepal with a gentle touch, but no one around to try and pounce upon that opportunity in India. I think it is one thing that has been pretty prevalent for the women in blue is that they are trying to create from the back instead of only going for the long balls. They are trying to make it a mix and match, which is always a good sign. Again, it doesn't necessarily guarantee you success, but it kind of starts building a new form of play. A form of play that Igor Damash wanted to incorporate in the men's section. And now Crispin Chetri is trying to create that in the women's as well. A shot at the near post. Could have been better. Took one on the turn, trying to stun their counterparts. It was Muskin Subba. Wasn't the worst of deliveries. It just wobbled up. And that bounce left Bimala BK absolutely gobsmacked. And it fell into the stride of Muskin Subba. It's just that she couldn't find the back of the net. But she did try to test what Nepal's up to, what the Nepal defense is up to. It's been a while since they have been probed. And that was just a warning sign. And on the contrary, Nepal as well was quick to try and create another attack with the Indian defense. Once again, cool, calm, composed. Pretty level-headed in their pursuit of what should have been a decent defensive maneuver. India looking a bit more on the rise, on the surge, trying to win the ball, trying to be a bit more persistent with their high press. And that's a good sign. That's a good long ball. Incredible setup. Can be trouble brewing for India. But the run with the ball should have been better. I think she just couldn't move freely. And that led to a bit of a letdown for Nepal. India wins it back. Good soft touch. And now they've got space on the left. They go through the center. Soumya lays it off for her partner. Again, a crucial touch on that. Takes it away. And this is some good, fast-paced, high-intense, high-octane action. But the passing has to be a tad better. Pretty wild delivery. Throw in for India. Malathi Munda sends it forward. A good turn to evade her marker, but ends up running into a cul-de-sac. An hour of football done and dusted, and we've seen 2 goals. Both the teams with one. Soumya Gogolont exploiting a mistake, and then Rashmi Kumari Gissing heading home after the ball dropped in an ocean of chaos and pandemonium. So both the teams kind of riding high on a bit of mistake from the opposition. And right now, it's fairly disoriented. The game not really getting those positive passes. This one might just be that opening that India will be sensing. Soumya trying to accelerate, as being out-muscled, and Nepal wins the ball back and does so phenomenally. But India as well, quick to close down the gates. India, every single time they've come on the attack, Nepal has been questioned. And now Nepal trying to recreate, trying to emulate the Indian attacking quotient. Will miss out as India looking for that repost again. The midfield now turning out into a boiling cauldron of activities. Both the sides trying to snatch the ball midway and trying to launch something of their own, trying to launch forward a full-blown enterprise. And this will elude everyone as the ball goes out for a goal kick. India trying to lay it off onto that far left. I think the passing needs to be a tad bit better, but again, decent bit of interception there as well from Nepal. Slightly heavy touch on that one. Nepal now quick to move around, trying to find a bit of space through the center. That's a lovely ball. And an excellent close down by Ashtamoram. She was rushing forth. That's experience talking for you. Right on her toes. Just take a look at how quick she was to deny any chance at all, even before Bimala could get a touch to it. But this is another corner. One of these corners has allowed Nepal to claw their way back into the game. Can Anita Basnet deliver another of those telling blows? Anita sends it in. Brought down. Shot taken. Flashing agonizingly wide of the goal. Saru Limbu trying her luck from range and on the volley. Not the easiest of chances. Incredibly well done. The first touch was brilliant. Kept it under control, and the second touch was the pull of the trigger. Activating that inner Hawkeye of hers. But missing out on hitting the bullseye. And now India. Soumya from the left looking for options. Will have to drag it back in. Oh, looks like she has, is it? No, she didn't. Initially, the referee just took a bit longer. She was waiting for a signal from the assistant referee once again. That first touch was a tad heavier. Yeah, it did cross the entirety of the line. So yes, she'll have to return empty-handed. All eyes will be on when does Crispin eventually decides to get Anju Tamang in the mix. Anju is an excellent attacker, and if needed, she can be a holding midfielder as well. And if she can join a twin change for Nepal, in fact 3 changes, not 2 actually. Yes, 3 changes being brought in. Nepal getting in the likes of Rekha Porel. And in walks Renuka Nagarkoti, as well as Manmaya Damai. Just trying to bring in a bit of momentum, bring in a bit of fresh momentum altogether in this fixture. And the captain's armband being handed over to Renuka Nagarkoti. But that doesn't mean Anita Basnet is going anywhere. She stays here. It's just that they have their senior skipper in. So Nepal now will be hunting in packs. Nepal will be hunting for blood. And the intentions are loud and clear. There's no mercy anymore. We are coming for you. Is India all set to deal with the pressure? Does Crispin Chetri decide to bring about a few changes of his own as well? A friendly again, at the end of the day, you can make as many changes as you want.
Substitution for Nepal. Jersey number 15, Meena
Now India,
replaced
they come in all the way from the right. Not the best of balls there.
Rekha Paudel.
Throw in for India. And Rekha Paudel, she's being lauded.
Kumari Bujel replaced by jersey number 5.
Quickly taken. India delivers a ball into the box, but to whom? None of their own were looking around.
22, Saraswati Hamal replaced
And Nepal starts driving now. Through the center, is it?
Nagarkoti.
Yes, Rekha gets hold of it. First touch, pretty fine enough. Back to Rekha. Can be going for that one long push on the right. And this time, a bit of a mispass, is it? No, Nepal wins it back. Tad heavier than expected once again. I think the idea was to try and find Anita Basnet once again, and every single time she's on the ball, she's creating absolute chaos. Nepal might be on the move, and Indian defense switches on, gets their jets on just in the nick of time, and ensures the fact that Nepal won't have a free say, won't have a freebie in the mix. Couple of step overs, and that's quality. 1 versus 3, but once again you had to release the ball early, but looks like there is a bit of foul. There is a bit of foul play involved, and thereby India getting a free kick. And India as well making a couple of changes. Every single change being lauded. Hema Munda will be the one coming in, and Abhishta Basnit. We have been talking about her a long time, and she's finally all set to make her way to the center. Grace and Muskan, they have went out. Muskan did have a great chance. Game's on. Both the teams resorting to a few changes. And definitely with Abhishta Basnet coming in, India will be trying to manifold, trying to multiply that attacking intent of theirs. Free kick taken. Headed away. It's all Nepal for now. Nepal might just get that room that they are eyeing for. But they decide to go for a back pass. They eventually launch one forward, headed away. I think Malati Munda, she's been brilliant in the defense. Stood tall like a rock. And she's combined well with Soumya Narayansamy. Good layoff onto the right. One back once again. Taunt forward. Soumya gets it just where she wants it. Can be trouble. Soumya pulls the trigger. But excellent defending just in the nick of time again. A sliding tackle from Bimala BK. Denying Soumya a free shy at goal. That is absolutely incredulous. The way she stepped in, just right at the ball, the way she came between destiny, between the anvil of fate and Soumya Gogolot, that's kind of unbelievable. Terrific stuff altogether. And now India has a corner. That's the quality that you want in Nepal. The girls are showing why they are rated so highly amongst Asian counterparts. But India now has a set piece. A pretty flat one taken. Back with India, is it? No, Nepal actually had someone stationed. And just before they could try and multiply that attacking unit of theirs, they had a bit of applauded there from Sujana Rai. Crispin Chetri very calmly observing affairs out here. He knows the importance of this game. This might be a friendly on paper, but the kind of effect it has on the mindset of the girls, I think it's absolutely brilliant. And women's football, it has been on a steep ascent altogether. That's a bit of a high boot there, but then again, not high enough to try and make the referee take a call. "20 minutes of regulation time. India wins it back, trying to accelerate. And this can be a good move altogether. Launching it forward. Soumya with a bit of a heavy touch on that occasion. Can India crack the Nepal defense open? But that's a lovely ball. A bit of momentum going in. Cross floated in. Headed away. Possession stays alive. A little bit of a back pass. Wonderfully done. Terrific stuff. That's quality. Took 4 defenders on a run. And the shot blocked away. What a phenomenal move there by India. Misha Thokar, of course, did try and close the gates down. But Priyadarshini, that was glorious. 1, 2. And then a layoff for Priyadarshini. She smashed it straight at the goalkeeper. But she'll remember this move. Quality, sheer class altogether. Corner floated at the far post. A bit of a miscued palming. with no one from India to try and head it towards that far side. Another cross. And this time Nepal gets it out of harm's way. India does well to win it back, only to concede it. And now Nepal, they are on the move forth. There's a bit of space on the left. A fine duel in the making. Quality there. Wins the ball. Keeps on running. And eventually it'll be India. Only to give it away. This is crazy action. Brilliant stuff. This is the football that we expect to see. This is the football that keeps us awake at night. This is the football that keeps our heart pounding like a jackhammer. And now India once again. Soumya is it? Soumya will have to let the ball go. Yeah, this is one particular challenge that Soumya has. She keeps the ball for way too long. But again, if she has to release the ball, she'll also need support as well. She single-handedly otherwise won't be able to break down the opposition defense. And after a long time, Usha gets it just a few moments ago. However, she had to stop a shot. Had it not been for Usha's save, India could have actually got their noses ahead. This game has now come to life. Both the teams, they have primed their arms and they have set them in position, hoping to fire it on all cylinders, hoping to set it to free fire. And this time the offside flag going up. We'll take a look once again. Fine ball on towards the left, towards the right there. It's going to be a free kick for India. Taken quickly by Malati Munda. Falls back for India. Trying to switch it towards the right. And kind of injected way too much power into that ball. But ever since India has made the two changes, they're actually looking good. Hema Munda and Abhishta Basnet, the way they are combining out in the midfield, it's kind of given a new leash of life to these young Indian girls. And Nepal are now a bit more watchful than they usually are. Yes, obviously when they are going forward on the attack, they're looking good, but I think Indian defense has also kind of stood solid, and that's just another testimony to that. Every single long ball has been intercepted, and that's a kind of quality, that's a kind of solidity, that's a kind of defensive shape that you want in order to keep your opposition at bay. And now India trying to step forth from the left, misses out. Final quarter of football remaining in this particular fixture, and whatsoever gets added on, let's say around 4 to 5 minutes. Rekha gets the ball after a long time. She's been deployed in a much more of a defensive medio role altogether. And that's a good exchange. And Soumya comes into the act after a long time. Had to take a call, had to make a save. And she found herself in very much of uncharted territories with the ball, getting a bit of an awkward bounce on that occasion. Lucky for her that it didn't really cause any harm, and she was okay to push it away. Referee says play on. Soumya, she'll have to switch it towards the left, and this time she's done it, and she's done it well. Almost out-muscled there. This time, India a throw has been given to Nepal on the contrary. But what a game this has been. I think particularly the second half, it has been a half rife with action. Absolutely brilliant, sensational stuff. Both the teams have come out all guns blazing. India has looked a lot more composed, and Nepal once again on the prowl. And Soumya says, you are not the only predator out here. I channel a similar spirit too. We'll take a look once again. That's a lovely setup. and could have been quite a good move altogether. Rekha Porel, she was on the rise, trying to get hold of it, and Soumya. She's been the heartthrob, she's been the nucleus in the Indian defense with the gloves on. And Rekha, I think she's also a very ruthless attacker. She can knit together a symphony of destruction for the defenders. And that was exactly why she was introduced. But India knows very well how to stop her. So far, they have done well. And these balls could have been better. Nepal wins it back. Trying to launch something of their own. They had a better option on to the right. Could have just laid it along the carpet. Wanted to go for glory. Wanted to go for fancy. And eventually launched one forward. That took a long deflection along the way and goes out of play for a throw-in, and Nepal coming up with another crucial change. This time, in a bit to solidify that defense of theirs, Pooja Rana is making her way into the center because India has been threatening off late, and they'll eventually take off Pratiksha Chaudhary. Pratiksha had a very good start to the game. Initially was extremely active, very involved, very invested, but as the game has progressed, he has kind of faded away. Oh, that could have been tricky. I think she realized it way too late, and now Nepal trying to punish India for that. A chance, gets the ball, takes one on the volley. Just a bit more elevation. That could have been a screamer of a finish from Sabita Rana Magar. Should have been much better from the Indian defense. They'll be thanking the heavens that the ball was not on target, or else they could have been toast by now. In Nepal, they were quick to pounce upon that chance. They just needed a bit more accuracy on the doors. India recovers, trying to launch something that can leave Nepal in a bit of frenzy. This might be one of those moves that it was kind of confirmed that the ball's going to be laid at the feet of the player who was running in from the right. It wasn't the case. You have to lay it off. You have to perfect the art of putting weight on the ball. Yeah, that's decent. India, however, they won't let go so easily. Their defense has been a lot more active. Their defense had to be active because Nepal, time and time again, has been challenging them, has been drawing them. That's quality. Absolutely brilliant stuff altogether. Abhista Basnet, this is what she brings to the table. Kept her eyes on the ball. A very young player. A young sensation in the making. And that was absolutely sensational. The way she came in with that challenge just in the nick of time. Another cross. Soumya. Just take a look at how unfazed she was. Came out of that line, kept her eyes on the ball, and it just bobbled ahead of her. And she picked it up with a smile on her face. That's how good she is. We simply love to watch her in action. And I think today, yes, initially she had her challenges, but the overall output, she'll be very, very happy about it. She'll have to still learn a lot of things. She'll have to practice. She'll have to get a lot more game time. But on this occasion, she kind of falls short. And it's going to be a corner. We are 81 minutes into the play. You can see the sheer force, the sheer love for the game. Everyone enjoying this picture. Everyone absolutely thrilled by the presence of two national teams. And it's still 1-1. It's still an excellent game of football. Corner taken at the far side. Kind of overpowered. And that will be a throw-in at the end of the day for Nepal. Is there a victor still in this picture, or do we share the spoils of war? Takes it quickly enough. And now Nepal. Do they have plans of trying their luck from range? Trying to chip it forward. Blocked away. India still in desperation of winning the ball back. But Nepal looks in total control. Another ball forward, headed to safety. Falls back for Nepal. Does well to control that. Recycle it. And now just from the right side. Might be opening. Cross delivered. And denied. Stern eyes in the mix. And phenomenally well done by the Indian defender. It was Santosh once again who had stretched her boots out and just gets it out of play in the way it should have been. Nonetheless, it's a corner. Another set piece for Nepal. I think there's been no dearth of action or excitement here in Paljor. Everyone, they have got the full value of the ticket that they have brought. Another header, but Nepal wins it back in the box, still trying to lay it off. Another shot has a bit of deflection and a bit of a drip as well. And that was sensed out by Soumya, so she did track back slightly. Yes, that's the deflection that we were talking about. For a moment, Soumya was willing to get back to that line, wanted to take no risk. Corner once again. Floated in, headed away by the Indian defense, loud and clear. Nepal delivers another cross. Soumya spills it. And the referee says it's not a penalty. The entire defense came together on this occasion and ensured the fact that the ball doesn't cross the line. It was a decent bit of positioning from Soumya, but the ball spilled out, and that is exactly where a second chance could have been created. Unfortunately for Nepal, they missed out on capitalizing on that one, and India stays afloat. India stays alive. This game stays alive. What a thriller this has been. A thriller of the highest order. A thriller that has the ingredients of taking it a couple of notches higher to a shade of masterclass. They try and launch it forward. The better option could have been the one to the left, and I think that's exactly what Soumya is trying to say. You should have been passing that to me, because she had no marker. I think at times these are the few things you have to be wary about. If you're not aware about which should be the right pass for you, always looking for the easy pass won't be your right option, won't be the right solution. One back. And now storming in from the right. India needs to be a bit more careful here. Oh, that's quality. That's commitment. That's sheer commitment and nothing else. She went down, shielding the ball with her body. Cross at the far side, trying to head it back into play. Unfortunately, no one from Nepal to try and wrest control. And now India. Is there a sniff? Is there a glimmer of hope for them? Well. At times you just got to lay it off into the center. You can't just have one preferred route that you will be eyeing for. There's the ball. The idea was picture perfect. Only if someone from Nepal could have circled around. But Nepal, relentless, ruthless in their pursuit. They keep on coming in waves. Can they break the deadlock once again? But India persistent as well. India as solid as a rock. Not willing to give up. Not willing to go down without a fight. This is absolutely crazy. What a game we are witnessing. And this is what happens when an unstoppable object, let's say Nepal in this case, meets an immovable object, let's say India. This has been a war of attack versus defense. India's defense in the second half has screamed brilliance. Nepal's attack in the second half has screamed alarms for the Indian side. Nepal again from that right. Another cross floated in, chested. But before they could take the shot, India blocks the way. Ball stays alive in the box. It's an opportunity for Nepal. Will they lay it off on the right? They do. Cross comes in at the far side. A heading. But then a header actually. But misses out. And finally India wins the ball back. What a moment of madness. And these are testing times for India. What a lovely opening there. What a lovely cross. Again, that first start just getting a bit too heavy on that occasion. Purnima Rai failing to control. But Nepal, do they stop? No, they don't. They keep on knocking on the doors. They want goals here. And India wins it back. India says, let's have a lunge of our own. Nepal says, not so easy. And they come again from the right. Anita Basnet, what a play. She's been the live wire of the Nepal side. The Indian defense, do they go down that easy? Do they let their guards down? No, with a capital N. They fight. And they fight with their hearts on the line. They fight with their bodies and spirits on the line. They swing from one end to the other. They take a hammering. They stand up. And they keep on denying Nepal over and over and over again. That's what heart is all about. That's what commitment is all about. That's what passion, madness, craziness is all about. And now India, couple of methodical passes. Again, just trying to control the tempo on that occasion. Wanted to lay it off Priyadarshini, but Nepal might be on the way forward, does well to get past a couple of defenders. India just getting a bit too confused on that one. And the throw-in for Nepal, I think that should have been better from Hema Munda. She kept on driving at times. You got to check that run of yours. Because if you're not doing that, you are giving it an unnecessary throw-in because India actually had that under control. Nepal wins the ball back. India tries and stall them. Stays with Nepal. Renuka Nagarkoti had a few chances of her own. Last minute of regulation time and then whatsoever gets added on. 4 minutes is what we have. Looks like we have a change lined up. Nepal will be trying out Anjana Rana Magar. And Anjana, she was a part of the Nepal side. It played India. And she is coming here just to ensure that she gets a bit of game time, but I think they'll be absolutely delighted with the way that Usha Nath has played. Again, not those crucial saves, of course, but then she had to stop a couple of shots which did need some saving. And they were pretty well taken. Right, Nepal comes in with a bit more reinforcement. And they come in with a free kick. They have got Renuka Nagarkoti. They have got Anita Basnet as well up top. And they have got a few big names in the form of Rashmi Kumari Gising. It's going to be Renuka with the delivery. And that has been blown out of the ground for a goal kick. And Renuka won't be happy with that. I think she would have expected that this could have been a better move. It's not the case, however. We'll take a look once again. Renuka stomps it forward. And it kept on flying and flew all the way out of the park.
I'd like to request the person
Goal kick it is.
to please leave the premises, or at least leave the ground.
Taken quickly enough. One back by Nepal though. Slightly flatter that goal kick. Renuka wins it back. Switches it to the right. Another long ranger. Soumya says, right, I'm here. Don't forget me. Absolutely do not forget me. I have the captain's armband. I have a job to do. And shots like that, you cannot leave me phased. Despite the fact that it was a very well taken shot. It had power. It had a bit of curve as well to it. But Soumya has been sensational today. We'll take a look once again. Fine setup towards the right. Good first touch. Opened up that shooting lane and there. straight down the heart. And decent positioning from Soumya as well. The positioning creates a lot of difference for a goalkeeper, for a custodian, because if she's well stationed, if she knows what the position should be in a particular enterprise, I think it gets a lot more easier for her to reach the ball, thereby making a safe look a regulation one. But you are an inch to the left or right, you never know. Things might get complicated. Hema Munda brought down. That was a fine duel. Hema didn't want to give the ball up at any cost. And now she's won her team a free kick. Might be a last roll of the dice for Team India. And I think also kudos to Meera Tamang, the way she's handled the game. There you go, Hema reaching the ball. Actually did well. And then a bit of a friendly hug altogether from the right. Just bringing her down. Possibly taking her down, sitting for a quick chat. And right, let's have a bit of a chat. I think Hema said after the game for sure. Soumya with the free kick. Soumya asking her teammates to step up. Is India going to push for the numbers forward? Is there a late twist? Is there a late moment of reckoning in this fixture? Soumya goes it all the way. Anjana almost built it. Early jitters for Anjana. Late ones for Nepal. Trying to grab the ball. She's made an entire hash of affairs. But lucky for her, India fails to capitalize. Now Nepal, with a bit of a late plunge. They'll have to go long, they'll have to go aerial. Or at least they'll have to try an eye for the box. Renuka gets the ball, is it? Yes, it is Renuka. Now pushes it back. And India blocks it once again. Might be one final shot before the referee brings the curtains down on this game. Does well, lining one up. Good turn. Takes the shot. Soumya collects that. Strong throughout the game. She's got ice in her veins, a volcano in her heart. And that volcano are all these saves. A flurry of saves denying Nepal as Meera Tamang blows the final whistle and eventually draws curtains on this fixture. What a brilliant game of football. What a high intensity fixture. A game that oscillated from one end to the other at Paljor in Gangtok. The final scoreline, India 1, Nepal 1. The spoils of the war have been shared. They said that this was a friendly battle. This was an exhibition match. But truth be told, there was hardly anything friendly about this. There was hardly anything benign about this. It was a full-blown battle. A battle of ferocity. A battle of intensity. And a battle that did pit a couple of amazing sides. India and Nepal. Absolutely terrific. Absolutely sublime. And the result, a befitting one. 1-1 at the end of 90 minutes.
The match will go to penalty shootout. I request the players to be ready.
Right, this game's not yet done. It's going to be a penalty it's going to be a penalty shootout, so we'll have a victor at the end of the day. Initially, what was thought that the spoils will be shared, but it isn't the case. We'll have a penalty shootout to decide who will be the victor. So stay tuned. This game is far from over. You wanted drama, and we have cinema at our hands. Right, both the teams step out in the center. And India will be taking the first shot. And that was indeed why Anjana Rana Magar was actually sent minutes before the game came to an end. Both the goalkeepers given out the instructions. Soumya, she's had an excellent fixture altogether. And now she'll have the chance to be the hero. In fact, looks like it's going to be Nepal with the first shot and not India. Excuse me for that. And this possibly can be the most intriguing, the most fascinating part of the day for the audience out in the center. Sabita Rana Magar will be the one to take the first shot for Nepal. And Soumya, who's had a great game of football today, who's proved to be the messiah for India on multiple occasions. And she once again do the honors. Meera Tamang just ensuring that the ball's well placed before the shot's taken. And the deafening roar at the Paljor Stadium will tell you how excited the audience is. Right then, Sabita it is. And Sabita finds the net. Soumya going the wrong way. And Sabita with a smile on her face. Absolutely a cakewalk. It's all about composure. It's all about finding the right target. Nepal surges ahead. And at the other end now for Nepal, it's going to be Anjana Rana Magar. And India will have Priyadarshini stepping up. Take one from the spot. Make no mistake, Anjana, she's a stalwart in the game's truest sense. Priyadarshini takes it all wrong, and Anjana gets the first save of the shootout. Not the best of penalties. It was an emasculated hit. It took a bit of an awkward elevation as well. And I think if you take her overall look at the body position, it will tell you that she just wanted to place that. At times you have to do better than that. There wasn't any intent of power. Ideally, if you have an intent of power, you will have your shoulders moving, attack to the corners. Because your initial power comes in all the way from the hip. And then when you swing that leg of yours, you channel it to the ball. Right. And Nepal has got a goal as well. I think there was a bit of a technical glitch that was on. And Nepal made no mistake. Well, apologies for that. India has now missed out 2-on-2. This time Santosh stepping up and shot it way above the post. And this time it's make or break. If Nepal scores, India will be in pretty much uncharted territories here. And Anita Basnet stepping up. She'll have a golden chance to put this game to bed once and for all. Obviously, India will have their shot coming in. Anita smashes it out. She's dragged it wide, and India might just have a bit of breathing space here. Soumya did go in the right side, and it wasn't on target. Can India bounce back? Two crucial saves altogether from Anjana Rana Magar. In India, we will have Ashram Oram stepping up. Ashram's got some international exposure before, and obviously should be the one hoping to get at least a goal back. Not the best of penalties. Anjana denies again, and India misses out 3-on-3. What's really going on? Not a single conversion on that. Taken along the carpet and goes horribly wrong. Right, if Nepal scores, that should be game, set and match. So Soumya has got to save this. No other way out. Nisha Tokar it is. Nisha takes one and gets the ball in the back of the net. Nepal conquers the exhibition match. India has to concede after a phenomenal battle of 90 minutes. Fans are enjoying themselves out in the centre. It's a big victory for Nepal at the end of the day. It came through a tiebreaker. India couldn't really conjure the kind of precision that was needed in the shootout. Not a single shot hit its mark. And once again, composure prevailing out there for Nisha Tokar. And she was cool and calm, sending it way past Soumya after proving what she is capable of. Unfortunately, she fell short in the shootout. But the fans, they thoroughly enjoyed themselves. What a game this has been. It kept on oscillating from one end to the other. It had all the ingredients of being a superb game, and it was a superb game indeed. But well played to both the sides, but eventually Nepal managed to secure a victory through tiebreaker. The full-time scoreline was India 1, Nepal 1. But after India missed out on their on their shootouts, Nepal managed to take the bragging rights home. We'll take a look at the highlights of the game. India and Nepal both started off on a fairly aggressive note. None of the teams were going on a bit of a cagey affair. India came in all the way from the left and right. They did try and find out chances, but couldn't really crack them open. A few good saves. Soumya was brought into the action over and over again. Both the teams went from one end to the other. Both the teams looked out for scoring opportunities, and at the end of it all, it was two moments of individual brilliance. Quite a few good saves, to be honest. Throughout the game, we had witnessed both the goalkeepers staying busy. Usha at one end and Soumya. And then the moment of reckoning for India. Soumya snatching a ball with a lovely chest wrap. And then a brilliant first touch to control before firing home the all-important first goal. But Nepal, they were hardly unfazed by it. They kept on coming in waves. And then a few trips, a few topples, a few tumbles altogether. This was a decent move as well. And Soumya, once again, we keep on saying this, Soumya has been sensational. But then this move caused India that lead. A bit of an awkward bounce. And the ball went into the back of the net. And once again, it was Gising who found that all-important equalizer. The second half was a lot more active, was a lot more open. And there was intensity from all corners. We witnessed a few great saves. We witnessed a few brilliant maneuvers altogether. And Soumya went down asking for a penalty, but then she was denied. That was another incredible setup. Should have been better. And then Nepal kept on firing. The Indian defense was being tested over and over again. Soumya was tested over and over again. But the combination of Santosh and Malati Munda, they did well. They kind of kept India in the game. They were not willing to allow anything for Nepal despite the relentless wave of attacks that India were up against. India managed to keep the women in blue away. This was another lovely chance and a brilliant bit of control altogether by Malati. The way she closed down the gate, that was absolutely sensational. No place, no qualms about the clearance. And then another fine shot, missed its mark by Whiskers. And India had an opening as well. Soumya did try to drag that ball in, but it went out already before she could pull it back. And good control as well, very good slides. Timing their tackles, timing their runs to perfection, not allowing India to build from the momentum that they created. And this was one of the best of the runs. Left and right, she swiveled so smoothly as if she was a knife through butter. And then that fine corner somehow palmed away. Unfortunately, no one from India could capitalize. Nepal kept on knocking on the doors, but Soumya and the defenders combined came up with a few crucial saves. And this was another lovely chance. Unfortunate that Nepal couldn't keep it on target. Another fine move, another fine delivery, and brilliant stop. Another long ranger hammered, but had a bit of a deflection along the way, taking a move that went for a ballooning arc, and then somehow it was spilled and well controlled once again. Soumya, however, she was absolutely sensational. That's another quality ball. Wonderfully brought down towards that far side, but no one from Nepal could actually come up to try and control that, to try and punish it towards the net. Another long free kick. It had a bit of a curving element to it, a bit of a dip as well. But then it was way off target as the ball went out of play. And that was one of the best shots. One on the turn, but straight into the hands of Soumya. And then at the other end, Soumya Gogolok almost set up something incredible. Unfortunately, it was spilt, and again, from India, no one to make the most of it. And that was the final whistle. And the full-time scoreline, India won, Nepal won. And in tiebreaker, Nepal won by 3